Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Doctor, how are you? Gunjuru News Online viewers, welcome to another edition of SALAGI, the turning point for Gunjur, the turning point for KOMBO, sorry. Today our topic is last week's topics, that is our voters registration statistic and unfair representation. So again, our presenter is Professor Conteh, who is based in the US, and our panelists are Ensa, Touray, and also Banka, Manneh, and Dave Manneh. So we shall proceed. Prof, briefly introduce yourself.
Okay, well, thank you very, very much, Mr.
We have to do this every day. We come here because we keep gaining new viewers. They want to know who is who.
Oh, okay. Well, I am Dr. Conteh Lamine. I am originally from Faraba Banta, KOMBO East. I was born in Pirang, Barande, and I teach accounting and finance here in the United States. And I'm here, I'm a Kombonka, and I am very concerned about the land grabbing and the sand mining in all the areas in the coastal area of KOMBO. And I'm really concerned because we should not only look at today for self-gratification, but we should also look at the future of our children and our children's children, because if all the resources are taken, what are we going to do in the future? So I'm here to lend a hand to talk to Gambians about what is going on. And today our topic is going to be equal representation or proportional representation, because our area has about 37% of the population, but yet still our representation in the National Assembly is not equitable, and also the appointment of ministers is not equitable. And I think we as citizens of KOMBO, we have that fiduciary responsibility to speak, and for the government to understand, that we mean business. So I'll stop right here.
Thank you very much, Prof. And we appreciate your time. You wouldn't believe the number of reviews we got for this presentation. It seems Gambia people are staff of, information, and that probably is part of our problems. If people know, people are well informed, I believe they will take the right decision. Dr. Ensa Touray, can you also briefly introduce yourself? Who is Ensa Touray?
Thank you very much, Ahmed. My name is Ensa Touray, a native from Gunjur. I'm currently in Nigeria. I'm stranded in the lockdown, but my heart, my spirit, and everything is on KOMBO and Gambia. And I'm also very, very sensitive to the pride and the predicament of the people of KOMBO. And we believe that our understanding of the current trend, especially when it comes to demand and the pressure on the settlements, and that of the productive and the viable nature of KOMBO has actually attracted not only the state, but we understand that groups and the powerful individual or capitalists are actually trying to penetrate into KOMBO to actually deprive people of their hereditary land and the productive and the viable space. So that is why we are all part of this panel to ensure that we actually sensitize people to understand how political instruments are being used, how economic instruments and other influential means are used actually to constrain the people of KOMBO, and we are here to stand for the people of KOMBO up to any time that we believe that our people are well situated. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much, Esa, for that brilliant introduction. And before we start, we have Dave also in. I will let Dave introduce himself, then we'll continue from there.
Someone has something in the background is interfering.
Yeah, background. Esa.
Yeah.
Okay, so okay. Background noise kabodula. So basically, before Dr. start, I'm just going to give you a brief summary of what was said last week. And probably the most important part of last week's presentation, Banka also here, was that 54% of Gambian voters, registered voters, are in the West Coast region. That is KOMBO, 54%. But we only represent, we only have 35% representation. So that means if we go by real statistic, we still need maybe 8 more seats in the KOMBO for it to be balanced enough. And democracy is all about numbers. Today, the parliamentarians were debating about introducing certain laws. That is going to boil down to the votes, who vote for and who vote against. So with our numbers, it doesn't really count, So this is what we try to inform, either the IEC or the member or the parliament, to make the right decision, to make sure that KOMBO need to be redemarcated so that we are equally represented. We have more people in Gunjur than in Banjul, but Banjul have 3 representatives. Not only Gunjur, but the entire KOMBO South, which have a population of over 160,000 people. Compare that to only 30,000 people in Banjul. They have 2 seats in the parliament. We have only 1. That have to change. That have to change if we are going to be fairly represented. Dave, can you hear me? Hello, Dave. Hello, Dave. How are you?
Yes, I'm good. Can you hear me?
Yeah. So, Dave, please briefly introduce yourself to the viewers of Gunjur News Online.
Okay. I'm DF Manneh. I'm not a stranger now. I think I've been here. This is the 7th week.
No. I think every week we assume every time we come here we see we have new viewers, so that's why it's imperative. If somebody is just coming for the first time today, he needs to know who are these people. Okay, thank you.
All right. Yeah. You want me to say something again, or?
No, just introduce yourself. Who is Dave Manneh?
Oh, okay. So sorry. Yeah, I'm Dave Manneh. Lamine Dave Manneh. Everybody, just call me Dave. It's easier. I'm from Brufut. Live in the UK. Yes. That's about it. So just like Mr. Manjang and Dr. Conteh and my dad Banka and Mr. Touray and lots of you other Gambians and Kombonkers, we got concerns about the whole situation in not only in Kombo, the whole of the Gambia really. So, but obviously we can talk about things that are much more local to us. So, but it's a whole Gambian issue anyway.
Yes, yeah. So Banka, welcome back.
Thank you.
So introduce yourself and also introduce the program. Why this program? Why this platform? I give that honor to you to introduce yourself. Who is Banka Manneh? Even though you don't need any introduction in most parts of the Gambia, but
I do.
No, I don't think so. Okay, go ahead.
Well, my name is Banka Manneh, and I am from Kombo Brufut also, and I live in the United States. The program really to kind of shrink it into a few words is all about highlighting the issues that affect Kombo. There are, like I've always said, there are issues that are specific to Kombo, like the coastal issues. Those are specific to Kombo. There is no other coastal place in the Gambia other than the Kombo region and going to Nyomi and areas like that. So really, these the issues when it comes to sand mining in our areas, when it comes to the gardening, the women's gardening, when it comes to the environmental disaster that is unfolding in, say, Gunjur, like golden lead and stuff like that, those are specific to Kombo. And so we want to make sure that the issues that are so specific to Kombo and have not been addressed nationally, the land issues that are so horrible when it comes to, I know land issues affect other areas in the Gambia, but it's far much more pronounced in Kombo than any other region. So again, these are the issues that pretty much, I would say, inspired this program to come here and discuss them and highlight them, and with a view to kind of galvanizing the people of Kombo to finally come together and address these issues. Because for far too long, what tends to happen, like we have said this here before, and it's sad, but Kombo is probably one of the only region in the Gambia where even their own parliamentarians at one point were neither from there or even live there. They would from somebody and impose them on them. So again, these issues are so important to the people of Kombo, but yet they've never been highlighted by the people of Kombo, or at least we did not see the people of Kombo come together and address them. Finally, this is what we are trying to orchestrate and instigate here, to where we will have the whole of Kombo to finally start to say enough is enough. Enough of the environmental disasters, enough of the land grabbing that's been going on by the government, enough of the lack of infrastructure, enough of the lack of hospitals and schools, good schools, enough of the not paying any attention to Kombo, when in fact Kombo is where all the votes are to elect this president. So really, like I said, in few words, this is what this program is all about.
Yeah, okay, Banka, you concluded it very, very nicely. That's where all the votes are. But if you look at our represented, we are unfairly underrepresented, and that's why we are here today. And last week, if anybody wants to know where we started with last week, Prof, you can continue from there then.
It seems like I'm breaking in and out. Maybe Banka came to Brikama and disturbed everything.
you are in Brikama right now. Is there a network?
Because this is very funny. The sooner Banka came, I started breaking away. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, you are coming anyway.
That's just between your
just this story. I hear about it. My
and Brikama. So for one reason, if I go out, I'm coming back in. So panelists, Banka, you were right by saying that we represent about 58% of the population.
Yeah.
But we said that we cannot talk about Kombo's issue without even talking about Fonyi. Fonyi is fully represented, but we are underrepresented. So last time where we ended, we talked about the population configuration. This is based on the 2013 census. So again, to reiterate, Brikama area, which is West Coast, is 36.91% of the population. And Mr. Manjang, I sent you the graph.
Yeah.
And Kanifing is 20.21%. So you notice that the two areas, they are almost 58% of the population.
Population.
But still, West Coast region has 12 representatives, and Kanifing, to my knowledge, I think they have about 7. So you're right. Based on the statistics that I'm going to show you later on, we need at least 8 more parliamentarians, and the Kanifing also needs at least 4 more. So looking at the area that you notice that, let me go back to the population itself, because maybe that's what people are interested in looking at. The area, we look here with the population, actually, even if we take the registration itself, you'll notice that we have 281,115 people who are registered. Kanifing has 199,957 registered people, and Basse has 115,185. Kerawan has 101,717 people, but they have 7 representatives. Janjambure has 66,172. And to be quite candid, if we have to enumerate, we look at the configuration of voters in Kombo North, you will notice that Kombo North actually has more people in terms of registration than Basse. And then if you look again at Karawan, Kombo North has more registered voters. And Janjambure has 66,172. Kuntao has 50,503 registered voters. Mansakonko only has 49,198. And Banjul has only 22,731, slightly more than my constituency of Kombo East. But no, they don't have 2 National Assembly members. They have 3, Banjul South, Banjul Central, and Banjul North. So based on that, if we have more registered voters, our population itself is 683,000. So based on the population statistics, if we're going to use that, then we can argue that we need proportional representation. Therefore, what we need to have is at least 20. So which means that we need 8 more. But the new constitution of the Gambia, the draft constitution of the Gambia, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but it says it wants to do away with the nominated members. So if the president has 5 nominated members, the cost is already been consumed in the budget. So I don't see a reason why the Kombo cannot call for additional, even if we have to compromise. And I think if we're going to compromise, because I'm looking at Joswang, I'm looking at Serakunda West, you'll be surprised. If we talk about underrepresentation, Serakunda West also is underrepresented as well as Kombo South. So these are things that we need to talk about. And Banka, yes, you're right. Last week, when the Minister of Environment came to Parliament and they had parliamentary questions about the environment, guess what? No National Assembly member from KOMBO spoke. So if they are not talking on our behalf about the environmental disaster, land grabbing, but the environment by itself, if they cannot talk, who else is going to do their talk for them? So this shouldn't be a partisan thing, because if you think about the pollution in Gunjur, think about the smell that people breathe, in Gunjur. How about the pregnant women? And then you think about all the other stuff that's going on. So again, I'm grateful that we just came here. But again, let me just reiterate, that Brikama administrative area, commonly known as West Coast region, in our time it was Western Division. It has 36.91%. And if you look at Canifing, it has 20.21%. Basse has 12.71%. Kerawan has 12.28%. Janjambure has 6.71%. Kuntauro has 5.18%. Mansakonko has 4.34%. And finally, Banjo has 1.68%. I think I want to stop right here and let you all digress that, and we can talk about that.
Okay, who wants to come first? Among you three?
Look, I think that this disproportional representation that is so well articulated by the good doctor, Jase Conteh, and he highlighted it very, very well. I think that this is so outrageous on so many levels, because when you talk about maybe one parliamentarian that we don't have, or two or three, maybe one can even look at that and kind of finagle around it. But when you're talking about 8 more needed, then that's still a very, very high number. So somehow, a conversation needs to start right now, because again, the elections are coming, and we have a new constitution. We have that is also going to be ushered in soon, hopefully, if it passes. That is, and so there's an ample opportunity here to insist on KOMBO finally getting the proportional representation that it deserves. Now, and yes, and so this should also definitely be part of the agenda. The KOMBO Yurua Kafo needs to add this to the agenda, the existing agenda, and make it central also, because again, if we don't have the right representation in Parliament, our voice is not going to be heard enough. And that's partly the problem, Ahmed, why we are seeing situations where laws are passed that literally affect KOMBO in the most egregious fashion, but KOMBOnkers don't even realize that they are affected by these laws like that. So I think that it will be great if really we can take this matter up and see how we can push for some. Now, maybe the IEC is the one who has to work on these things. I don't know. We have to really find out the institutions that are responsible for this stuff, and then talk to them and see, with a view to seeing how this thing needs to be resolved. Because the gerrymandering that we all saw seen in this was engineered by both Jawara government and the Yaya Jammeh government. They all knew exactly what they were doing. You see, even the Jawara days, still KOMBO had the population. It literally was the highest number, even at that time. Maybe not by the gap that we see now, but even then KOMBO had a huge population. But even then, KOMBO was not fully represented, one, and number two, they brought in representatives outside to come and represent KOMBO. Now, when Yaya came, he deployed the same kind of strategy. He tried to find out where his main opposition is and where his support base is, and they did a political gerrymandering based on that reality. See, these guys are not stupid. They know exactly. They knew exactly what they were doing. There's a reason why Kombo North was just split into just two, where that's all they did with Kombo North. We ended up with two parliamentarians. They just split Kombo North into two. That's all they did. Now, when you go to other regions, you find out that they are split more and more and more and more to create as many parliamentarians there as possible. In the end, shortchanging us. So we need to make sure that this representation, let it be based on numbers, because everywhere in the world, even in the United States here, Ahmed, even in the United States here, when they do what they call Congressional Redistricting, what they do is they literally do it based on population. That's why when the census is coming, and this is another key important aspect that we need to also pay attention to. Here, when the census is coming, every state, the state government itself takes it upon itself to push for everybody registering. I mean, everybody filling out that census form, because they know that the numbers are going to be reflected, because again, it determines so many other things. Even allocation of resources is determined by the number, by the population. Yes. So we need to pay close attention to what the good doctor is saying, because these numbers right here is gold mine. It determines the resources that are allocated to the region. It determines the congressional or the parliamentary representations we get. We are supposed to get. It determines what would I call it? When they want to build, for instance, facilities all around the country, like hospitals, roads, and things like that. It determines all those things. So we need to make sure we pay close attention to it, because here I noticed, even with this census, this year is census year in America, but the state itself is pushing it so hard, so aggressively. If you go to these black communities, they have people knocking on doors and telling people, hey, fill out this form, because if you don't fill it out, the black areas are going to be underrepresented, and that would mean you'll have less resources coming to our areas. So again, when the good doctor tells us about these numbers, Kombokas should listen very carefully and pay close attention to these numbers, because this is the way we're going to justify the requests or the demands we are going to make as far as resource allocation, as far as parliamentary seats, as far as many things. Because the only way you can show that the parliamentary allocation is not justified is by showing them that, look, say this region here has only 2,000 people, and yet they have two parliamentarians, and Kombo has 200,000 people, and yet they only have two parliamentarians. That's the only way you can justify it. So I think this is something that we need to really pay close attention to, and then push it, because we have the argument on our side. The argument is on our side. We have it because the numbers are on our side. So even the building of hospitals, how many hospitals have they built in our area? How many major hospitals? None. For a population that Kombo South and Kombo North alone, if you go to those places, or let me just say, even Sanimentering alone, not even Mega Broad. I mean, you are talking about huge, massive numbers. We did not get a single major hospital in there. So these are the arguments that we need to make, and make sure that the government treats us right. If it doesn't, well, come elections, let's do what we need to do. Honestly. Yes.
Ensa, somebody just asked why Ensa is always not visible. But I answered them for you. Ensa is stranded in Nigeria, so he's have issues with the connections anyway. So Ensa, you can come in. I can go last with Dave. Hello, Ensa. That's the problem. You can't know whether Ensa is there or not. So Dave. As the representative of Kombo Yiruakafo, because this is the structure that is already established, and we all want to use them as a vehicle to be our eyes and ears, and our link between us and the government and the authorities. So you hear from the doctor, you hear from Banka, the data are there. These are solid facts from IEC's websites and all that. So it's all nicely put in together. Anybody can look at them and understand. We are seriously underrepresented when it comes to major decision making. What do you think, we can do to rectify this anomaly? Because time is one thing that is not on our side.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Dad. Thank you, Dr. Conteh.
Thank you.
I think it's all about numbers. Dr. Conteh gave us the numbers, but these other numbers we also need to put into the consideration. That's the numbers of the MPs we need to introduce bills in Parliament or the National Assembly. So obviously, we all know it's not proportional representation. I mean, Dr. Conteh elaborated. He's made a very good justification for that. And my dad also Banka elaborated on it. So I wouldn't have to cover that anymore. But we are not going to be able to make any moves until we have MPs or National Assembly members willing to introduce bills in the National Assembly that will be voted on, and then it becomes a law. They can amend the current IEC regulations. That's the only way they can do the redistricts. What's it called? They can do the rezoning. I think in America they got a different term for it. Here we call it rezoning. Okay, so but we need to have these people. So that's why political lobbying is important. So we need to speak to politicians right now to talk to them, convince them that we don't think KOMBO is proportionally represented. I mean, so I don't want to repeat what has already been said so eloquently by my dad and Dr. Conteh. But if you take an example of Banjul, you got 30,000 people being represented by four National Assembly members. So each of them
three National Assembly members.
So yeah, 30. So it's 10,000. Every 10,000 Banjulian is got an MP who speaks on his behalf. So now you speak of KOMBO. I mean, somebody was telling me food alone has got more than 40,000 people. So how do we justify it? But then talking alone is not going to fix it for us. We have to do the political lobbying. So we'll have to speak to these MPs, whether it's going to be Lawyer Dabo, it's going to be Hamad Ba, it's going to be Maifati, any of those. We have to speak to them. We have to convince them that they need to introduce the bill in Parliament or National Assembly. So it needs to be voted through so that the IEC can have the power to change and can do the rezoning. I think that's quite important. So numbers about the statistics, numbers how many people we can also have on our side who are willing to introduce the bill in Parliament, and afterwards, how many are willing to vote for it. So we got to understand for some people, I mean, our question, our query, our quest might be moral, but people don't go up on just on morality. It's people's self-interest sometimes. So it might not be in somebody's self-interest to even do the rezoning. Because, for example, I use Banjul not because it's nothing against them. It's just the example is so stark that the 30,000 people can have 10 representatives in the National Assembly. But if we want to rezone it, are they even going to accept it? So these are some of the things we also need to put into consideration. So we need to do a lot of political lobbying.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dave. Talking about 10,000 to 1, we have 160,000 to 1 in KOMBO South. So that's obscene, and that's something need to be done about that quickly.
Definitely.
It cannot go like
I'm getting a phone call from Gambia. I'm going to pick it up and I'll come back once I'm finished.
No problem. Ensa, can you hear me? Hello, Ensa? Okay, Doctor, you can continue anyway.
Okay, I'm glad that Mr. Dave Manneh talked about lobbying, but I want to state something to you that I got an inbox from a parliamentarian, and she asked if we can bring a citizen proposal, and she will bring it to Parliament. And can you all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you loud and clear.
I've seen how
the news is so good. We are all frozen.
I'm serious. I'm serious. This was last week after we met, and I wrote something on Facebook addressed to her, and she wrote to me and said that if we can bring a citizen proposal, she will bring it to Parliament.
So I think we need to find a way to come together again. Maybe this information should be sent to Kombo Yoruba Kafo, or would you like for us to discuss about it first, get everything that we need to do, cross our T's, dot all our I's, and then send it to them, and then maybe she will bring it to Parliament. All the queries that we've been talking about, she heard about it. I talked about tough, and I told her that I'm sorry, but I'm a Gambian. I grew up on a farm, and I'm very concerned about lack of arable land for agriculture, land grabbing. I told her again about what is going on in Sanyang, about the sand mining, and the fact is that it will have irreversible damage on the environment. And she's willing to work with us. So now I think it's up to us now to, people are listening. So we should try to find a way to do that. And Mr. Manjang, I'm going to send you all also the population, because we've been looking at the registration. But if you have a parliamentarian also represents a 1-week-old baby. And if the 1-week-old baby is part of the population, I wanted to put it to you that we in the West Coast region, our population, according to 2013 census, we have 688,000, or we had 688,744. That is 37% of the population. And Conteh, second, has 377,134. Again, 20.21% of the population. Now, if you look at these two areas, we are almost 58% of the population. So you notice that our population is not going down. Our population actually is growing. While other areas, their population is going down. So if we don't have proportional representation, tell me how our members of parliament would listen to what we're doing. But again, I want to tell you, when you call these parliamentarians, the only person who would talk to you, there are two of them, I'm not going to publish their names, but they have, every time I call them, they would answer the phone. But our own parliamentarians, if you call them one time, they answer the telephone. Any subsequent telephone call you make to them, they won't answer. So I don't know whether they are fixated with the politics or what. But I think once we're here, we're talking about what we need to do about KOMBO. I don't see any political affiliation here, because we are talking about the health of our people. You all talk about the hospital. In fact, I was just wondering, if you live in Brufut and you are sick, and they need to take you all the way to Conteh General Hospital, tell me how long it is. So don't we have lack of vision? If they're going to put that OIC building over there that they have spent billions and billions of dollars, but yet still we don't have anything. So the basic idea is that what we are doing here, the people back home, is resonating. But I welcome anyone, regardless of our political affiliation. If we're talking about, now I understood what my late mother used to say, Kombo Banko, Masakunda Banko. So this was what they used to say Tuba Banko. So the Tuba Banko was taking our land from us. So again, I still stand by my position that the former PPP member of parliament for Jara West and minister of local government was the one who was definitely instrumental in changing the dynamics of KOMBO landscape by introducing a bill that said that KOMBO North, KOMBO South, in fact, he said all the land in KOMBO belonged to the government. It was our member of parliament, Lamine Jama, who said no, it wouldn't happen in KOMBO East. But the member of parliament from KOMBO Central never said anything. The member of parliament from Kombo South never said anything, and the member of parliament from Kombo North never said anything. So I think we need to have a serious conversation with these parliamentarians. Just writing a letter to the president of the country that is executive, but no one has even taken the time to write to all these political parties, to write to the legislature. No one has taken the time to talk to the judiciary. So are they saying that we have a dictatorship? So anything that we have to do, we're only gonna talk about the president. I don't know about you, but for me, this Mandinka Fasa, I am not in it, because I told someone how elated I was that Dauda Jallo was selected as Attorney General of the Gambia. And this gentleman told me, oh, Fulolo. I said, oh, no, we don't use that in Kombo. I said he's a Kombanker, and he's been selected as Attorney General. We welcome it. So you see how our orientations are different? So we believe in diversity and coexistence, whereby other places don't. But again, like I said, let's try to find a time to formulate what we need to do about proposing legislation to this lady. And she is not even a member of parliament from any rural area. Can you believe? I think you all know who I'm talking about. You all should know who I'm talking about now. So I challenge you, let's get together and get this thing done so that we can bring this to reality, because Barrow is not going to talk about it because he doesn't want to offend the real estate industry. And all these political parties, they are not going to talk about it. But I think the next strategy, see, for me, if no one wants to talk about this, I don't mind to lead a group of people to have the Kombo Political Action Network. And we engage our youth to say, do not vote for any political party that doesn't stand with us to put a moratorium on land grabbing. Also, this land mining that is going on, and we also need hospitals. So if our people get sick, where do you think we're going to go to? So I'm going to stop here and let someone take over. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Your final suggestion, I think you can go ahead, and maybe some of us will join that the Action Net group. We need more pressure group as possible, but I think Kombo Yirua Kafo, if we can put our act together, we can be a very, very potent pressure groups. But what we need right now is sensitization. The youths need to be sensitized. They need to be talking to. As usual, before I go to Ensa, I hope you are there this time. Just to bring in some of the comments we have here. Sayo Bayang, I think it's in England, he wrote, very valid point, highly thoughtful. So, you ring in some bell there. And Leila Bin makes two comments. First one, he said, Kombo South is the least developed part in the Gambia. You guys in Gunjur need to act now. Yeah, that's what we are doing, Leila. It's a terrible situation. That's what we are doing. We try to speak up and speak to the authorities to consider us. And finally, she wrote, Dr. Conteh, please enlighten the people of Kombo. I want to live in Kombo South, but I worried about the hospital thing. It discouraged me a lot. It's not only Kombo South. Brikama, you cannot call that a major health center. So a population of 37% of the Gambia population didn't even have a major hospital. That is not acceptable at any level. So as I let you in, if you are there, then I will go to Dave. Ensa, are you there? Hello, Ensa, can you hear me? Okay. Dave, you heard doctor's take on that, and he started, let's not forget this, that somebody want us to put these things in writing and figures. He'll take it to the parliament. I think that's a brilliant news that we need to act on quickly. How do you think we can go about this?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can
Can you
hear
hear
you
me?
clearly. Yeah, I can hear you.
I'm
Yeah.
struggling to hear you. Can
Oh,
you hear me
sorry.
now?
Yes, I can hear you all the time. Doctor,
Okay.
can you hear
All right.
me?
Oh, yeah, I can
All
hear
right.
you.
Okay. Dave, you hear my
All right. Thank
question?
you. Yes, yes. I think I had the tail end of
Oh,
it. You know, if you could
okay.
repeat
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
Maybe it's my headset. I'm struggling.
Okay. I hope it's not
Maybe let me
your.
take the headset off.
Okay. Okay. I can hear you anyway clearly.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you clearly.
It's
Yeah,
even
sorry
breaking.
guys,
All
we
right. Let me take
having
the headset off.
some technical issues with my guest. It will be solved this modern technology. We were all born before all this, so we are trying to learn as quickly as possible. Yes, you
Right.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you
You can hear
clearly.
me? Oh, okay.
Yes.
Take the headset off. I mean, I just have to basically say congratulations to Dr. Conteh for that initiative. I'm somebody, yes, I'm an executive of the KOMBO worker for Diaspora chapter, but I also am a very strong believer in organic organizations. I think sometimes organic organizations are actually, they can help a lot. They're very supplemental. They're very supplemental. They complement what, for example, KOMBO worker can do. So if you got initiatives like which you have taken already anyway, so once again, you know, thank you so much. We can do those. So we can work and tell the worker for this is we've done all the legwork. This is it now. You guys go ahead with it. I think we'll help them a lot. And at the same time, like I just need to emphasize this. Yeah, obviously I'm an executive member of the Commonwealth Worker for, but I'm also a very, very strong believer that we need to be action oriented. And sometimes I also believe we got like not so many protocols. They can be very constrictive sometimes. So I think sometimes just little is okay. It's okay not for anybody to go really over the top, but you can use your own initiative and just to get the ball moving. So like the initiative you've taken. So you've spoken to an National Assembly member, and you've come up with this brilliant suggestion that like you can set up what I would call an organic body. You can like involve and include and invite people, like-minded people, and then those are all brilliant things we can do. But then again, I just want to come back to this citizen proposal. I think this is amazing because, like I keep on saying, we can speak about all the social ills in KOMBO, how we can correct them, but there is a National Assembly. We're not going to be able to make any headway until we can work. So we need people within that body, that legislature, who are willing to meet halfway, and they're actually willing to listen to us. So if you have made such progress so far, I mean, already, I mean, this was last week we had this conversation. I mean, within 7 days, you were able to get something concrete. I think we're getting somewhere. I think that's very, very positive. So we got to grab this opportunity with both hands and run with it, really. So whatever you suggest, I'm up for that. I mean, like I said, KOMBO Iraqafo, we use it as a vehicle. It's the parent body, but that shouldn't stop anybody else with coming up with an initiative like you just done, Dr. Conteh. So once again, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you very much. Let me try Ensa again one more time. Ensa, are you there? Hello, Ensa. Sorry, Ensa is in Nigeria. He's struggling with his connections, as usual. We appreciate his time because with all the problems, he's always trying to be here. We had it one already, but it seems he's having problem with the connections. So, Doctor, as you hear Dave, what he said, it's not only through KOMBO Yiruakafor. As he said, there are many, many routes way to the haven. We can take different routes. This is one thing, and I think David and also KOMBO Yiruakafor will be very happy, to join hand with you to make sure this is done quickly. As we said, we don't have time. We are seriously underrepresented, and when we come to resources of the, as they said, Jammeh said, the national cake, we are, short-changed. So these things need to change. You have numbers, and they say democracy is all about numbers. So we are kingmakers who are at the same time water carriers. We'll carry the water for these politicians, but once they are established, they will use the same state machinery against us. Brikama, West Coast region, could you imagine 37% of the entire population, no major health system. The roads are in a terrible state. And you go to the biggest market of that Brikama, you can't breathe. There is water locking everywhere. Women is all congested, and it's just not good enough. So I will let you continue. If we have Ensa, then he will come in at any time. Go ahead, Prof.
Okay, and also I just want to see the justification for splitting Janjanbureh into two divisions, meaning CRR and Janjanbureh, with population of 60 and 50, maybe 115,000. And if we going to make that proposal, we are going to, I want to make recommendation that KOMBO North should have its own administrative area. I don't understand that if you go to, if you are coming from Bakau or even Banjo, and you make a right turn as if you are going towards Bruford, look at all the hotels on your right. Sometimes I just want to know how much tax revenue or even occupancy tax that they collect on all the hotel rooms in coastal KOMBO. And we want to know, out of that, how much goes into the local community. Because going into Bruford is to me is deplorable. Because you see all this fancy stuff out there, and then once you make a right turn and you look on your left, there is what a concrete wall all the way. So someone just cut off Bruford out of everything. And well, that's not, and then we should look at it. So if you have if you have over 115,000 people, even 115,000, you have more than 115,000 registered voters. So I think what we should also do, because I'm going to make this recommendation to the Gambia Census Bureau, to say that when you're doing population statistics, can you please tell us how many people live in each constituency, in each town? And the argument I'm making is that so that we can know, because if you go to the Gambia Bureau of Statistics and you look at the population distribution, they do not have such a thing. We don't have any population about Bruford. We don't have any population about Sanem entering. And I think we need to do that. So what they did was they compiled everything together. I don't know if they were doing it only to fool us or what. But again, the guy who is the head of the Gambia Bureau of Statistics is actually from West Coast region, Nyakasi Sanyang. And I'm going to try to engage him to say that the next census that you are going to do in 2023, would you all consider, given the population of each constituency, because you have the numbers anyway. When you went to any village, you got the numbers. You compile the numbers together. So you should actually, if you have all the polling stations, if IEC has all the polling stations in each constituency, with the total number of people who are going to vote in those constituents, in the old polling stations, I don't see a reason why they cannot have the population for every small little hamlet in the Gambia. Then if we have that, then we can make a compelling argument that Banjo, with a population of less than 32,000, has 3 members of parliament. But you look at Bruford has 40,000 people. Is this fair representation? Sometimes you don't even have to say we need. You ask a question. Is this fair representation? And again, the next town near you, that is Sukuta. I bet Sukuta also has equal number of people, maybe probably about 40,000 people. So again, this is one area. And then when you see, sometimes I sat down, I was wondering this week, I say, okay, so they talk about having all these $10 million houses in the in Brooklyn Heights. I really want to pay somebody. I want to pay somebody in Brookwood to do me a favor, to count all those houses out there, because I want to know how much tax we are losing. You cannot tell me that someone who has a $10 million house is unable to pay $5,000 property tax a year. So if you tell me that you cannot pay that, then I think it's misplaced priority. And if we can do that, that can even improve the school system in San Elementary. So I believe that your area, you all are blessed. You all are really and truly blessed. But I think we need, if we are going to be talking about, even if San Elementary or KOMBO North has to stand alone, but if they are doing well, it will have a trigger effect or domino effect on the rest of the community. So I think what we need to do, even the Brikama Area Council, do you know the tax rate? Does anyone know the property tax rate in the Gambia?
No, I don't.
So if we don't know the property tax rate, do we know how much tax is even collected for Brookwood area? Do we know? So if you say you cannot go inside your village because the roads are bad, what are they doing with the money? So this is one area, because you see, we always talk about the fact, that we are constrained about tax revenue. Gambia actually has tax revenue, but it's not properly collected. Because I think going to Brookwood should be, going inside Brookwood should not be any problem. And I think Brookwood, the schools in Brookwood, the tax revenue, the property taxes that these people pay, the homeowners, folks who have $10 million houses, $5 million houses, even $1 million houses. If you enumerate and count all those houses out there, and you multiply even $5,000 per year for all those houses, I bet it can improve or renovate some of the classrooms in Brookwood. So these are areas that we need to talk about. So when we talk about that, are we saying that you belong to whatever political party? No, you are not, because your child is going to sit out there and it's going to be educated. And if you are traveling to Brookwood, do you have to worry about going through ditches? If you have a vehicle, are you going to be scared that you might even bust one of your tires because of bad roads and so forth? So these are areas. But again, before I stop talking, yesterday I saw a video, Mr. Manneh, the two Mannehs, I don't know whether you're aware of it, but it really made me sick. One Jawara guy went in there to Brookwood and was excavating something. And do you know that he didn't even have license to do that? So we need to encourage our youths to say that if you see any heavy truck coming in, particularly with loading something heavy, please, you all try to come and follow the truck to see what they're doing. Because for the life of me, how could they have gone to a town and this sand mining is a very, very, very serious thing. If you don't believe it, go to Kartong. Folks in Kartong will tell you. And for us to sit down here, all of us here equally, our parents went to the farm, whether it was a rice field or the groundnut farm. Our mothers went out to the gardens and they paid our tuition. Some of us, even when we were coming here to the United States or the United Kingdom, your mother's money made it possible for you to buy air ticket. So now some of them may be dead and gone. But for us who are here, fortunate, I think we should pay back. Going home to do it may not even be the solution. You can still be here, and we should continue to talk. I think the more we talk, I think I really do believe that if we engage the Kombo Yoruba couple to talk to them about all these ills that we have in Kombo, and that do not pay specific attention only to the president, but also to all these political parties and their leaders. And we have two politicians who have political parties from Brufut, and I welcome them. And for me, if Barrow doesn't take any position, and if Usaino Dabo and the rest, even Halifa, our good friend, doesn't take any position, and General Lamine Bojan takes a position, or Mr. Hydra takes a position, I will encourage the youths of Kombo to vote for those people, because we are not going to sit down and let these people destroy our environment. And I've been telling this to even most of the people from the provinces. You saw last time what happened in Yanija. How could someone sell, is it 500 hectares of land in Yanija? And the chief there, Dauda York, we have to give him credence. We have to congratulate him for what he did. So these are things that we need to do. So I think what I need to do is to just keep quiet now and let you all take over. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Doctor, for that passionate presentation. Yet again, before I comment, I will bring 3 comments from the viewers. One is Mr. Jani. I think he's from Pirang. I don't know. Where he say, "Hello guys, your program is always interesting. Dr. Conteh, all you speak is fabulous. I hope you don't borrow it from Pirang." Thank you, guys.
Well, I did, because I was born there.
Yeah, okay, all right, good. Okay, Mr. Cham makes some very interesting commentary of them. First, he said development should be welcome, but they must give back to the community. And he went again, "I'm totally with you, Doctor. Gunjur municipality, Brikama exactly, should all be run by mayors. You know, I think BAC is too cumbersome, is too much. The population is too much." And this same comment, I've seen it on my timeline today by one Buba Baro, that he thinks Brikama, West Coast region should be partitioned. Just as you mentioned, Kombo North should be on its own, maybe Kombo South should be its autonomous and all that. And the final comment from MC Cham is that Gambia needs a proper mapping to determine the property tax rates. It can be the same for a house in Kerisering and a house in Basori. I think that's exactly what you mean. Is that what you're talking about? Like those expensive houses in Brufut, and if we go to downtown Brufut, they're all paying the same taxes. If I understand your statement, it's not fair. That can be right. You know, so coming back to my own observation about what you mentioned about sand mining, you know, I have to give credit to Dave. Once he saw those pictures, he made calls, and also Farmer Drame, and the Village Development Committee of Brufut went to the scene, you know, and that, you know, the case was out anyway. Brufut Village Development Committee were on top of it. Is this Director of Geology, Mr. Cham, who give the go-ahead to this cash, you know, company to go and mine. You know, depending on the old lines in the give to Kanaji mineral. Could you imagine that? That's still valid. So when they went there, as you said, the villagers around these courts should be very, very vigilant. You know, last week we stopped one in Gunjur as well, which unfortunately was led by my uncle Akibayo. So when Brufut Village Development Committee went and confront these people, they told them, well, they bring papers. We have all the papers from the government. But then farmer advised them, no, that can't be right. Before government give them the go-ahead, they're supposed to do what we call environmental impact assessment. And a very important component of that environmental impact assessment is the community outreach. You need to come back to the community if you do all your assessment and inform them about the outcome of that assessment. Tell them, well, this is what it's all about. These are the benefits and these are the disadvantages. This is the environmental damage it will cause or whatever. But as long as that didn't happen, that EIA is not completed. So once the NEA came there, they know that definitely what you going to, whatever you're going to mine here at Canberra, you need an environmental impact assessment. So they asked them to stop. So they actually stop while NEA go back and do the environmental impact assessment. But if you know where this place is located, you know that that environmental impact assessment is just a formality, it will never pass, because this is between Sani Mentreng and the Ghana town. Who in their right mind is going to mine there? And if you look at the pictures, it's like the guy is trying deliberately to create a route for water to flood in, because this mining happening in water. They want to deliberately flood the place with seawater, which can seriously have a serious implication on the water table of the main town in Brufut. So yes, the BDC is on top of this one, and we'll continue to monitor, to support them, to put them with the right groups on the ground, so that when they have these issues, they can go and join them. I'm not sure if Ensa, if I can get Ensa coming. Ensa, are you there? Okay. Elizabeth Gomez also is in agreement with you, Doctor, that even KOMBO North should have its own mayor. Exactly. That's what Doctor suggested. So Dave, Doctor, the next point should be solution. If we're going to petition, what are your suggestions? But before that, I want Dave to come and comment about the issues that you raised in your last speak.
Thank you so much, Doctor, and thank you, Mr. Manja. It's quite funny, actually. As somebody was telling me the other day, remarked, he said, you always talk about legislation. Go and get the laws. I say, it's so unnatural to Nyanchos because we normally take the sword, you know. But, you know, like, we like
yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so definitely, like coming to this devolution, decentralization. I mean, we've spoken about it so many times. I mean, somebody has even written about it. I know somebody actually did some research on it. I mean, if you, for example, if Brufut area, Sukuta, Bijilo, or whatever you want to call them, if they can be devolved from Brikama Area Council,
yeah.
I think we'll be wonderful. No. Again, we're going to go back to the law. Again, we go back to legislation, because it's a local. You have to go local council or local government act bill that will have to be passed. That can give them the permission for us to devolve. So I keep on going back to the same thing. We have to go back to the National Assembly. We have to have the laws changed, and we cannot change the laws on our own. So we have to do some political lobbying. We have to do citizen action, whatever Dr. Conteh called them. But there are so many things changing back home. And we can speak about them, and sometimes we speak about it with emotion. But like I keep on telling people, emotion, that is the vehicle. That's the vehicle to take us there. But we have to use logic and rationality to be the driver itself. So I think it's so many things there. Once again, to Dr. Conteh, we need to devolve. We need to have a decentralization. And then this is all, we can only achieve these two legislation. But I want to touch on what's it called, when it comes to sand mining in Brufut. Like I won't touch on this for too long, because I mean, you've spoken about it. I called some people back home yesterday because I was alarmed, and they went there. And yes, and I'm very heartened. There's a guy called Omar Malmo Sambu. He's an environmentalist anyway. So the people in town have spoken to him, and then he definitely have given them the advice from his professional angle that, you know, it would be a disaster to give them permission. But my concern was there are people back home, they feel that they're helpless. So I discussed that with Mr. Manja yesterday. We probably should help them, Iman Famara and maybe Mr. Omar Sambu, to tell them, actually, you're not powerless. You actually have the final say on what happens on your land. They seem to think that the government is giving them an edict, so they have to go around with it. I say that's not the case at all. But anyway, I need to move on again. When it comes to Mr. Conteh touched on the wall in Brufut. I mean, the symbolism about that wall. You see, when it comes to land in Brufut, I think it needs to be a topic on its own.
Yeah.
Because
so Friday, inshallah, that will be main topic of discussion, inshallah.
Yes,
Friday.
because it's so much there. It's so much there. It can take a whole week, really. So it's so much on there. So it's so much wrong about that whole land thing. Even what people would call like Brufut Heights. I mean, I call them squatters. That is my land. I didn't give it to the government to sell to you, so you're actually squatting on my land. So that's why that's a whole different ball game. It's a topic. It's so big. I just want us to leave a special day for it, really. Okay, but once again, I just want to say thank you to Dr. Conteh for your brilliant points, and obviously, Mr. Manja. We got a lot of work to do, but some of them, like I said, we can only do them through legislation.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dave, once again for that incisive contribution. I'll try to bring Ensa before I give the mic to Doctor for one final round of talk. Ensa, can you hear me? Maybe Ensa need to call. Okay, but before that, Sayo Bayang again. Let me see if I can read what he have to say. Stakeholder consultation and proper engagement is lacking in Gambia. That's what Sayo Bayang said. He said, you have done excellent assessment, Dr. Conteh, and thanks Ahmed, Dave, and Banka Manneh for this pace-setting challenge. Sayo, I'm going to get you here one day as well. We need your expertise on this forum. So thank you very much anyway for getting involved. We really appreciate it. Thank you. Let me try and call Ensa if I can get him. Yeah, so we're going to continue and we're going to speak to people. And also let us not forget, we have the majority leader. Yeah, continue to contribute. Anyway, they can hear you now.
Okay, what I am trying to say will
Wow, the call fell.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And I thought Nigeria was better than
Yeah, it's in Nigeria. I think they probably use AfriCell as well. Yes, go ahead.
Are you hearing me?
Yeah, we are hearing you. Can you hear him, right?
Okay, I said it is very important what Dr. Conteh said. And that we need to learn from his presentation because these are scientific evidence that are actually put forward also. And if we actually discard them, which means that we will continue mostly be theoretical in whatever we are doing. KOMBO need to be well situated within the context of organizational system. And when we say organizational system, we mean by we create a kind of agency, an organization that has different structures with agency to actually channel our issues to the government and institution concerned. I will right now trying to actually thank and be grateful to the late Banka Manneh when KOMBO was actually marginalized. The late Banka Manneh was the actually political liaison officer of KOMBO. He made effort to make sure that KOMBOnkers were actually out of that isolation, politically and marginalization. He challenged through the institutions and the powerful individual that actually led to the actual occasion of appointment of some of the KOMBOnkers to serve as ambassadors in different countries. Thanks to Banka Manneh, we lost him and we can actually thank him. May God actually he rest in perfect peace. But what we are saying here is that this actually is giving us how KOMBO should be actually structured. Structured in a way that it can actually constitute different structure that is sectorially driven. For example, we need a political committee that will take care of all this. Because for 2 weeks, each of our these National Assembly members will look at Dr. Conteh's presentation and tap it and use it as political capital, table it to National Assembly to get a credit for it. But none of them would mean that we were actually sending people to the parliament on the basis of acquaintance, on the basis of biological relationships and other issues. Now, what I want to say so that's right now, KOMBO is underrepresented, and we cannot actually drive any decision, any force in the National Assembly. Because all the people in the National Assembly, apart from our 5 National Assembly members, they really want to inhabit or live in KOMBO. So you know that once the KOMBOnkers are fighting for their land owned by the people, our representative, the number that we have, cannot actually constrain that for them to accept because they have the interest. So what we need to do is to make sure that these redemarcations are very important because they're going to constitute a lot in terms of our drive to actually put decisions and to also influence decision makers. So once we don't do that, we cannot actually say anything and we will not vote. none of these National Assembly members right now have ever actually took up any responsibility to make sure that they challenge our current problem to the parliament, to institution, to whatever. So what we need, KOMBO needs to be well structured. That is the KOMBO that is coming. We must make sure that we propose a better KOMBO structure that will look at the different, that will establish different structure based on sectorial needs. Once that is absent, we cannot do anything. All our endeavors, all our effort, and what panel discussion will be theoretical, and we want pragmatic establishment. So we need and well organized. So KOMBO need to be well spreaded organizational. Once that is absent, so what I want is KOMBO should take a very instrumental position in determining who's supposed to be the National Assembly members for each constituency in KOMBO, not on the partisan basis. Because the partisan basis will all partisan politics, and the party will always generate bad representatives and bad individuals based on their party alignment. But we, the KOMBOers, are looking at interest that is actually relevant and strategic for KOMBO. So we need to do that. Like if they want to elect a National Assembly member or become an electoral chairman, you say, okay, we and the funny people, we are all within Western region. Are these people going to produce this particular person who does not even conceptualize the policy of decentralization? And decentralization is there. None of the parliamentarians from KOMBO can actually even talk about it. Even National Assembly, the area council chairmen and their council cannot actually challenge it to say that we need a full-fledged decentralization in order to transfer competence in terms of how people themselves can decide the fund that is actually realized or accrued from the revenue. But we are not doing that. Central government is actually sending and subvention. But if we have a representative pool, legislative pool, more than 14, more than 15, at least they can say something for decision makers to think on how KOMBO should be represented in the entire Gambian government. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ensa. Yeah, I hope you hear Ensa loud and clear, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So he raised some very, very important issues. One of them, we need to restructure. I don't know the structural setup of KOMBO Iruakafo, but I think of example what he's talking about, we should have like a political unit, we should have an environment and health sector and all that. You know, yeah, if it is like that, like we can even determine who actually go and contest for us. For example, the case of Sirifo Sonko is a sad case. This guy, you know, he's incompetent. This chairmanship is far beyond him. He don't have the capacity to run it, but he was selected anyway. And if he remains loyal to UDP, he's going to remain there, whether he performs or not. Yeah, and he might even be re-elected. So these kind of anomalies, this is where the citizens have. I think this is where what Sajo Bayam is alluding to. You know, so stakeholder consultation and proper engagement is not there. So people are being selected based on how, you know, based on pure psychofunctioning, like competence. So, doctor, solutions. You know, if we're going to ask for this repartition or demarcation of KOMBO, you know, West Coast region, you know, where are the areas that need demarcation? Where are these numbers that are seriously, because if you say KOMBO, that's generalized. Maybe part of Brikama is even overrepresented. When you come to KOMBO South, definitely we are seriously underrepresented. You come to Sedimentary, they are seriously underrepresented. So which are the areas, you know, which that need demarcation, and what are the numbers? We have like 12 minutes between us.
Okay, Brikama North and South, they have 61,000 registered voters, but they only have 2 National Assembly members. I see a possibility of creating a third constituency in Brikama. And then looking at Busumbala and Old Yundum, if you add their population, again, is also 62,000. I see a possibility of creating another constituency, additional constituency for Busumbala,
Okay.
for Busumbala and Old Yundum.
So ideally speaking, you notice that I left Kombo East because I just want to be fair to the numbers to say that if Jimara has 21,300 and Kombo East has 21,400, then I don't see a reason to create a constituency there. So between Brikama, Busumbala, and Old Yundum, we have 2. Now, your area of Kombo South, I can argue that it should have at least 3. So you notice we have 5. And then Sana Mentoring should have 3 more constituencies. And if we have that, we will get our 8. So let's go back here. If we're going to do petition, Brikama that used to be Kombo Central, instead of having 2 National Assembly members, should have 3. Looking at Busumbala and Old Yundum, they should have 1 more. So we have 2, right? When we get to your constituency of Kombo South should have no less than 2 National Assembly members. If we have to reach a compromise, I have 4 right here. For Sana Mentoring for itself, what I don't understand, if you look at Sukuta by itself, it has what, how many people? Someone told me that about 40. So how come Sukuta cannot have its own? If you look at Brufut, I think Brufut should have its own. So you notice that the least we can have will be 6, but the highest we can have will be 8. And we should not settle for less than 6. And this has to be campaigned. We have to ensure that we bring this to the attention of the Independent Electoral Commission. Everything is about numbers. Everything is about the population. So during elections, what do? They get us to go and vote. But after the election, what do? They kick us in the back. I want to go back to the land issue. And I don't know whether you also any news bulletin about the chief in Yanija. Dada York had a 3-chief court against a gentleman from Yamina. Unfortunately, 3 out of 5 of the people who sold the land, they all died. Now they only have 2 living people out there. But the chief actually found them guilty. And the chief said this: if you're gonna sell more than 200 meters of land, guess what? More than 200 square meters of land, guess what? You have to get his permission. Do we have such a thing in any of our chieftaincies, do we?
I don't think so.
I think when we talk about this land issue, we should also not forget about the chiefs who are representing our district to say that why allow somebody to buy land or to sell land more than what the chief over in Yadija is saying you cannot do. I also want to bring something to your attention. Have you all seen a video on Black Acres? A gentleman, African-American folks who I love them, I live with them here. But this guy, if you all watch his video, I think he has property in Sanya. It's very, very disturbing. If you look at the fence on the left side, you notice that it is almost very close to the sea. But going on the right, it seems like the guy is expanding. And when I watched one of his videos, he said, oh, we are going to buy more land. So which means that he's trying to do what? He's trying to have a gated community. that is going to be exclusive of the people of Sanyang, and he's going to make a lot of money. So for the life of me, what I don't understand, how come our government can sit ignorant of the fact that somebody can come out? I know we want black folks to come to the Gambia. I 100% of it for it. But I don't think any foreigner, non-citizen of the Gambia should come out to our country and own even almost a quarter of a mile of our land. So what is going to happen is that these guys, so what they do now, they're going to buy all this stuff, and then he's going to fence everything. And then he's just like, I want to be fair to Taft. I want to be very, very fair to Taft. If I can single out a Gambian for buying land and apportioning it into 140 plots, selling the land for almost $700,000, you know, no one in the Gambia can afford that. And someone also told me about a black British woman who actually bought some land somewhere, I don't know where in the Gambia. I'm going to try to find out. So these are things that should concern all of us. And another area that we are all in July now, we all know what they do. These real estate agents, they do go in the communities, they do go to our poor farmers. Someone who had never seen $10,000 is, you go out in your briefcase, you pull out $100,000. If no one is around that individual, what makes you think they're not going to sell their land? So this is what is happening, but I still do believe, you know, this old Ensa idea of saying that ntolong sutioti, warantolong kabilang ko nyato koti, you take all that power into your own hands and sell land. So we are looking for instant gratification. Our people, you know how hurtful it is for me as a Kombonka to hear people chastising us that we sell our land. And what do you think we should do? Should we go into our community? Look at yesterday, the video that they showed up, this young guy who sold land to someone and then sold it to someone else, and they came to his compound. Do you know some of my friends who are non-Kombonkas were making mockery of that? And it hurts me to hear somebody talking about the fact that the people in Kombo are selling their land. And we need to sit down and talk to our people to say that this little money that you are getting will only last you for how many months? The most is only 1 year. And then if the money is gone, what's going to happen to your children? So I stop right here, and I appreciate everybody coming here. But I think our responsibility is to stand up for the people of Kombo, because if they finish buying the land in Kombo, they will go somewhere else in the rest of the country. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think that's where this moratorium we propose and national land survey we propose, we are writing to the government. You know, that cannot come quick enough, because we need to use that to identify who owns what, and also to sensitize the people of Kombo that, you know, as long as people live, they're going to eat. And any nation that want to progress have to be producing what they eat. They have to grow what they eat. If you're not doing that, you're not going to be healthy, because you're going to be dependent on processed food. And the ingredients they use to keep those food fresh, you know, are not good for our health. So the more we depend on processed food, the more unhealthy we become. So this is something we need to push on quickly, you know, to make sure the government bring in a moratorium so that all land sales stop for at least 12 months. You know, and during that time, they can bring in a survey to find out who owns what land and what can be sold and what cannot be sold and what cannot be used for residential purposes and what cannot be used, what can only be used for forest and also for wildlife and parks. Yeah, that date we have in fact 1 more minute. You know, can you close the program? And before you speak, I want to thank all of you once again for taking your time coming here to be engaged in this national discourse. And inshallah, Friday, I'm having a topic. This is optional to you, but Dave will be here, inshallah, and a lawyer to respond to some of the claims made by Taff in his recent interview with Fatnu Network, because Burfoot was mentioned, the TDA was mentioned, and how we acquired those lands, and we need to come out and actually tell the Gambian people what really happened, what we know, and whether those are illegal or not. And you also mentioned these foreigners coming in and buying this large chunk of land. I think I sent you the document. The Gambia constitution is very clear on this. I don't know how these people are getting away with these things, because one thing, foreign national cannot even own a home 100 meters before from the whole high water marks to the land, and they cannot also lease land 100 meters from the high water marks to the land. And there is certain acreage that a foreign national can own in the Gambia. That is very clear. So, it seems nobody is in charge in that country. Thank you very much, David, for your final comment and closing remarks.
Oh, thank you so much, Dr. Conteh and Mr. Manjang. Oh, yeah, Mr. Touray. I just want to take us back to what some points Mr. Touray made about KOMBO Wakafo needed to have different departments. I think they have all of those. I think it probably will help maybe next time if we can share KOMBO Wakafo's webpage, or even if somebody can go just read through the constitution, because those are all covered anyway. But I want to go back to this organic, my idea of like people being willing to be organic. So it's no need waiting for KOMBO Wakafo. You can set up your own associations and then make them up, and KOMBO Wakafo can just be the parent body. But don't sit back and say, oh, KOMBO Wakafo is lacking this, is lacking this. Create it, have it functioning, go to them and say, this is what we have, and have a chat, because we all have to come together. Now, I want to go back to this devolution and decentralization. It's got to be done in a certain way whereby other parts of Western Division or West Coast region don't feel left out. Because if you look at it very carefully, most of the revenues and taxes are generated from most of them are generated from Burfoot, Bijilo, all Gambia. That's where most of them are. That's where the tourists are. That's where most of these expensive houses are. So if we want to devolve, we want to decentralize. So Income Area Council has less money. So people who don't come from that area, they're probably going to object. So Kombonkers themselves, well, Western Division, like Dr. Conteh keep on reminding us, Fonyi is part of Western Division. We'll have to sit down. We'll have to do it in a certain way whereby no area is left out. So because if we have to go by Burfoot, so go to Bijilo, Kersari, Bijilo, all the way to Senegambia, like I said, that's where most of our revenue is generated from. So if those people devolve, so what is left for people who live in, who live in Fonyi or Kanilai End? They have got no money. Yeah. So we have to come together, West Coast people, and try and get proper structure in place. We talk as a family, but all of this again goes back to legislation. Is national government have to have acts that can allow devolution and decentralization. It's very important. So, like I said, land, when it comes to land issues, I don't like to get involved in them, but I think there are some ways we can help our people when it comes to land. So, if you want to sell your land, don't give anybody a freehold on your land. Give them a lease of 50 years maximum, maybe 21 years. So I think about land, we'll have to discuss that another day. So once again, I just want to say, let nobody wait for KOMBO Wakafo. Set something up, come to them. They'll be very happy. They'll be open their arms to you. They'll be very, very welcome. But don't wait for them. Don't wait. And please take your time and read their constitution. Take your time to go to the website and see how it's structured. It's very important. Okay? Thank you so much, everybody.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dave. Just to clarify this, what Yajame did to people of KOMBO as well was that he took all these hotels and created TDA, Tourism Development Board. Then he took all this mining and give it to geology. So you see, the people of West Coast region are deprived of vital revenue. Thank you all anyway. These all will come up in another subsequent discussion. Our viewers, Gunyu News Online, appreciate your time. And please share these videos so many people as possible can get it. And inshallah, we'll be here again on Friday. But, well, it's every day in the week. Tomorrow we are talking environment, 1 hour late. We are coming 8 o'clock UK time. And 7 o'clock Gambian time, Famara will be here. We are discussing environmental challenges facing us in the Gambia. And on Thursday again, Ben Suare will be here. And on Friday, inshallah, we are here refuting or counter-claiming some of the issues Puff mentioned in his recent interview. I think it's very, very important. We hear from the horse mouth, the people who are directly affected, that is the people of Brufut, to come and clear the air. What really went, what really happened, you know, because what happened in Brufut is just heartbreaking. Thank you all for your time. Allah Barak.
Thank you very much.
Baraka.
Thank you, Dr. Conteh. Baraka.
Baraka, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Fitness Center Body Max.
Fire for body, and if you follow me, go now. Enjoyment go kill 'em. Baby girl, you bad, girl the way you whine. I demand over you, girl. I demand over you, girl. Say you are my woman, my superwoman. I demand over you, girl. I demand over you, girl. Where see the wine, I see fire for body. And if you follow me, go now. Enjoyment go kill 'em.
Moro mbijan do bakandro
ko ngalla janna kibaro moy kalka sola bagaso wafu
e ka fontelle ko sola enterprise fo fendi nabe dendi sola la fannala la sola la bundal ndella ko do ko ke mole janka sola joran kendo natala dum min nata na ko fanandiya birin gambia jam fo gambia e bantala nga bagasol samba be ton ka do ku kendo be ke mo be ninga do ko ke momo ndi en ka sanji kilin garantie dilale nyin kama ko la do ko lanno so waran ni tema
bagasi falle
bagaso min bijay fofe nabe dendi sola la bundala la sola la fannala a bagaso sifa be bijay lightning and pumping system ndella fanan ko ke mole min be dendi na ko ni dandal ni kordal ka jiodi ala nin ka lampo fanan sika ka diala wo pompin wolbe den nin gadinol nin ku kotal ni la jiko ni la fama bela lightning wala dimbani ku kotal danno sola enterprise tin ko la ka
fem sola
fo fem be den di sola la hajo la janne be loro
wato tente bul baga solta
adum fana be kufula la leje bunda fula fana be mbulle fal kabona ndami anin dula ba fula safonya America ni Europe na fal kabona wolta dum doron no moto min ka fenken do na te sola la baga sol kana te nyam banko kanya
abanda baga solta ni
ngata.
For more information, call 7171998. 7171998. Kunjur Fitness Center Body Max.
Blessed with the mighty Atlantic Ocean, fertile agricultural lands, and a strategic geographic location that gives an opportunity for a lot of people to explore and get into the business. Gunjur and the Gambia at large has experienced numerous shutdowns when it comes to economy, and especially this COVID time. Please join us as we embark on a journey where we explore different areas of our business sector, from agriculture, fisheries, and small business enterprises. Gunjur Business is in short called Gunjur Biz. This will be a platform that we will use to explore different business opportunities, especially for young people. We'll bring you on Gunjur Online all the business topics that is related to financing, operations, marketing. And we will use this platform to invite experts from different sectors of the Gambian economy and give tips and have a broader analysis of the general business sector. This will give us an opportunity to be able to discuss in a broader detail how businesses are affected when it comes to our environment, our natural resources being exploited by other people, but also how we can tap into the opportunities and also access capital, which is very crucial for the success of the businesses. But not only that, we won't stop at accessing capital. You know what else we're going to do? It's about the little operational processes that are needed in our business culture to build up cultures that's going to be successful. And that's going to be, most importantly, what? It's going to be sustainable for the success of the business. So we can transfer wealth. We can also transfer skills from one person to another to be able to live in a community that is thriving, a community that businesses, private sector, individual businesses nurture entrepreneurship and reward them. So please join me every week on Gunjur Online as we delve into all these areas of discussions when it comes to business success. This is your host, Abubakar of Gunjur Online. Thank you for joining us, and I'll see you.
My name is Babukar Ikamara. I'm from Gunjur. Started poultry farming in 2016. I then named my poultry after myself and my mother, which we both have B as the starting of our names. So I then named my poultry after Best Choice Poultry Farm. The reason why I start poultry farming is as a result of seeing other young people doing something great for themselves and also for their country, employing other young people and giving them a hope. That actually motivated me quite a lot to also do something in my country in terms of food self-sufficiency. Currently I am working with 2 people. Those are employed on the poultry side and they work constantly. So whether I'm here or not, the poultry is running. Initially, I had a lot of passion to further my education and have my degrees in the areas that I studied, which is business. With this, when I started with the first batch in 2016, that was 33 small chicks of broilers. Then that 33, I started with them in my personal bedroom. I raised them in my bedroom and I slept in the parlor. and I still have memorable pictures of all those things. And after that, I sold the entire bike with the 33, so I got like almost some couple of thousand. And by then, I had a half scholarship to one of the Asian countries in Indonesia to study business and administration. The dream was halfway through. I got the visa to travel. I couldn't have a ticket. I struggled quite a lot. I couldn't have it. So I said, well, that might not be my destiny. So I have to drop that and then continue with the poultry farming. So I then tried to raise some capital and get some more chickens and then brought them up, sell them, multiply. This thing get growing. Really, I'm enjoying what I do. So now poultry farming becomes part of my life. Then the second phase of my story was the time I started building a house for them. I then started making some mud blocks. I couldn't even pay people. I have to mobilize a resource from my own house, and I get help there. And then we then built a small mud house which is 4 by 4 meters. The first house is still there. I use it as my museum or historic house. So now I have a couple of guinea fowls in there. Just renovate the house a little bit and put a run there for the guinea fowls to actually walk in when they leave the house. My first market is my family. Then the secondary one is the neighborhood. They also buy. I'm not doing much saving. I'm doing a very little saving as I'm doing profit plowback. When I have little profit, then I reinvest it into the business. I could do more. I believe I could do a lot because the knowledge is there, the know-how is there, and the willingness is there. But then the capacity in terms of finances aspect of it is the problem. But then I wanted to start everything, and whatever comes would actually follow. So if you want to consume fresh, if you want to eat healthy foods, you have to consume or buy locally.